back to Selene, everyone. Today we're doing it private because I didn't get a chance to do it during today's live stream, which if you want to see them, they are on Twitch. Link will be probably above or in the description, along with a lot of really fun other links. They spent most of the way to the store in tense silence. A few times Ethan asked something just to make sure Hope was still talking to him. Hope was, though, the answers were dry and she never even attempted to make a joke. It's not that bad, Ethan told himself. It's not that bad at all. If you repeat it again and again, you can buy a little time, but in the end, the anxiety will prevail. It always does. Ethan's mind quickly figured out the owner was trying to trick it and spat out the chewing gum. At the moment, Ethan got caught in an avalanche of thoughts that he didn't want to deal with and couldn't in his current state. Something had to be done, to be said, but what? Maybe he should really do something after all. Ethan imagined touching Hope's fingers, and he immediately saw her pulling the hand back, her eyes glistening, as she opened her mouth to ask the question Ethan had no answer to. They'd have to talk, one way or another. Ethan didn't know where to start without burying himself even deeper. He had been thinking about it the whole way, but never came up with anything. The huge supermarket was the next block. A place they had long dubbed the store was bustling with life despite the rather late hour. As soon as they entered the large glass doors, the tension began to come off on its own. By the way, guys, I will be recording some of the lines that I didn't record for this soon, so look for an update if you pick the game up on Steam. Remember, it's free. The cards were scarce, but Ethan got them in exchange for a coupon. Hope gave him a thumbs up with a not bad at all expression on her face. Hope enthusiastically presented a huge, colorful, utterly ludicrous mug, and Ethan immediately agreed they had to buy it. They tried to find a pair for the mug, but a brooding supermarket employee said it was the last one. They were a little disappointed, but, well, at least that was something. Looking for the mug was the thing that finally did the trick. Now they were huddled together, looking for their favorite treats and arguing about which breakfast cereals were the best. Obviously, Frosted Flakes. That's how it was until they reached the meat department. I'll go pick something out before it's all cleared. Hope nodded absently. She was stuck at one of the big fridges in the middle of the hall. Okay, I'll be waiting for you here. The meat shelves were half empty as usual at this hour. Ethan was hoping to find a steak or some minced meat. However, he soon forgot about both. The girl was standing by one of the shelves. Ethan couldn't see her face, only her pale back under the white dress with thin straps and also her disheveled dark hair. Ethan's cheeks was stung with cold as if his face was lying on the shelf in one of those refrigerated display cases. Just between the pork ribs and the loin ribeye in the black polyester foam tray. Is that her? Ethan took a few uncertain steps forward. Then he backed away, almost knocking over a nice old lady. He couldn't even muster an apology, grabbed the first thing that came to hand, and turned around to the nearest row of shelves. He tried not to run. Because it would have looked too stupid, Ethan explained to himself as he reached the end of the row and peered around the corner. The girl was still picking out meat. Isn't that what you're doing now, stupid? For sure it is, Ethan agreed with himself. The cold no longer burned his cheeks, and the girl seemed quite ordinary. Except She was dressed too lightly for the current weather, but that was still not considered a crime in any state. Ethan smiled to his own thoughts. Generally speaking, the girl was rather attractive, and her light clothes allowed one to fully appreciate it. Her thin waist passing into a seductive curve of her hips, and beneath the folds of white fabric, one could make out her round buttocks.
Fun.
What?
I was asking broccoli or Brussels sprouts.
Hope stood still, with 2 colored plastic bags in her hand, looking at Ethan questioningly. He blinked several times, squinting as if he had just stepped out into the bright light from a darkened room. When did he get back to Hope? Why was he holding a bottle of Thousand Island dressing? I don't know. He was a little dizzy.
Are you alright?
Yeah, never mind. I'm sorry, I was just lost in thought. Hope tried not to look in the direction Ethan had been focusing on for so long. She really tried, but sometimes trying isn't enough, no matter how much effort you put in. At the very moment the dark-haired girl's light white dress was floating away from the meat shelves. She must have finally made her choice.
I see.
For a moment, Ethan thought both colorful plastic bags were about to slap him in the face. But Hope just smiled and tossed the bags into the cart. Ethan heard them crunch loudly as they hit the bottom.
Well, let's take a bath. Variety is the spice of life.
They haven't bought any zucchini. I want my zucchini. That night he had another dream about the white room. The walls were still trembling softly in the cold light. Everything in the room, including the air, was oozing tension, anguishing in anticipation of what was about to happen. And something was really about to happen, no doubt about it. Ethan suddenly realized he was looking at the room from an odd angle. He seemed to be standing on something, but he couldn't feel anything under his feet, no support. He tried to look down, but only saw the shimmering air. He had no legs, and nothing above the missing legs. As if he was not there. Or rather, he was the shimmering air, the chipped ceiling and the walls that were still trembling. He was the red sofa standing a little away from the center, and a couple of unremarkable white doors on opposite walls of the room that were not there last time. And that should not have been there. Nothing can be done about it now. The doors have appeared, and there is nothing that can be done about it now. The light grew dim now, pulsating noticeably. It was still emanating from the room in its entirety, reflecting from the white walls, but most of all from the twin bra on the wall between the 2 doors that were not supposed to be. For some reason, Ethan tried to catch the rhythm of the light with his breath, yet he couldn't. There were 2 figures sitting on the sofa, one fair and the other dark. The dark one came into the room through one of the doors, but Ethan couldn't guess which one. The fair one was Hope. Hope, what are you doing here? You can't be here. You have to leave right now, or something will happen. The pulse of light became faster. The dark one moved towards Hope and tucked a blonde strand behind her ear. Everything was happening very slowly, as if underwater. There was something odd about the Dark One. Something about her was wrong, but Ethan couldn't guess what. She leaned towards Hope's ear and covered her mouth with her hand, and Hope leaned towards her and listened very carefully, as if they had a mutual secret among themselves. Something was about to happen. They both looked at Ethan, even though Ethan wasn't there, or rather, he was nowhere because no white room ever existed. Then one of them smiled. The Dark One's fingers slid down Hope's chin. A soft, round line. They were no longer looking at Ethan, only at each other very closely, and were slowly inhaling the lights. The Dark One stroked Hope's cheek, and there was no light left between their ajar lips as they collided. Ethan saw drops of saliva glistening on their lips. The Dark One licked her lips and raised her tongue to make space for the long black snake as it got out of her mouth. The snake swayed, tasting the air, with its own tongue, and reached out to Hope. Hope closed her eyes. Now the snake was stroking her cheek, long and black over again, in a spiral, always in a spiral. Hope reached for the band that covered her eyes, and the dark girl reached for her hand, and their fingers intertwined, and the light between their lips melted, as it always happens at sunset. Yet there was no snake. It was just a coil of black ribbon, a poisonous ribbon covered in scales. The pulse of the room became faster. One of the lamps came into an eclipse. She has a number of faces, that's a clue. Bodies of two girls merged on the red sofa, and his own flesh was shaking and shrinking. Ligaments, valves, bones, vessels, in places where they came very close to the shabby red upholstery. His heart rate became faster. 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 And then something happened. Ethan woke up. His breath was bubbling in his throat. The ceiling above him was flaring with immeasurable darkness, and down below his stomach he felt a searing heat. The heat was so intense, Ethan had to sneak into the bathroom, and as his old man used to say, he had to squeeze it off. And not just once, but whopping two. After that, Ethan leaned over the sink and was looking at himself in a small rectangular mirror for quite a while. At some point, his lips started trembling. Ethan did not wait to see where this was going. He spat into the sink, let the water in for a while, then he turned the lights off. Ethan didn't want morning to come. How to make the tomato soup. At some point, they had to remove her fingernails, an accident at the factory. She got lost. It's legal, but it's painful still. Devil comes from the little cracks. They don't tell you at school. No time to cook? We've got an answer on the shelf. Tomato soup. Made with fresh tomatoes and I wish you'd never been born. I think we've seen them all. Let's see if this is different. The devil's made a okay, yep, we've seen that. So I will go through all of these eventually. Like I'll do a video. I'll do like a special where we look at these. He didn't want to wake up to see a hidden grudge in Hope's eyes. to listen to the awkward silence and to seize every opportunity to say word to break it. Let's see. September 15th. The bus driver saw me. He didn't laugh at me and didn't get mad like Mom. He even allowed me to play in the bus. I wish there was more people like him. February 13th. An awful day. I was crazy scared of Mom. She says she'll have some days off and we'll be watching movies and eating waffles. I'd love that, but she looks very sad. I don't know what to do. But morning did come, and Ethan was in for a surprise. Everything was fine. Very much so. Hope got up early to make a superior breakfast, the kind Ethan was never able to cook, even when he really wanted to. She was talking to him. She was joking. She listed at least 10 places they would go when their schedules became more relaxed. The nightmare seemed to be over. Simply washed away down the drain with the rest of all the things excess he used to have in his body. The image was so real that Ethan got completely relaxed, let his guard down, dazed by the cute nonsense, waffles with cream and delicious Turkish coffee. Then Hope asked a question.
Do you think a darker hair color would suit me?
The coffee suddenly turned solid and stuck in his throat. Ethan felt as if it wasn't coffee at all, but finely ground glass. He coughed. What? Hope put her elbows on the table and sipped from her cup as if nothing had happened.
I was just thinking of becoming a brunette. What do you say? Huh?
I don't know. I'm fine with everything as it is. As long as you like it, I guess. Tiny pieces of glass were still scratching him from the inside. Ethan tried to clear his throat, but it didn't get much better. But why? Why were you thinking about this? Ethan struggled to speak. He felt as if he was falling into a pit, and the air was whistling in his ears.
Well, one has to change from time to time. Variety is good. Isn't that right?
She took another sip.
Besides, I find plenty of dark hair all over the apartment. Not very long, you know, but not too short either. About this length.
But even before Hope tapped her neck with the edge of her hand, Ethan knew where the hand would stop.
And so I thought, if I go brunette, I can believe those hairs are mine.
Hope's lips stretched and the corners of her mouth turned up. But she wasn't smiling. This isn't happening. This just can't be happening. He must still be asleep. This is a dream, just a shitty dream, and it will end. Now Ethan desperately wanted morning to come, but morning just couldn't come for the second time in a day. Hope leaned back in her chair and looked at him, with her head on one side, a fake smile smoldering on her lips. Something had to be done about it, all of it, right at this moment. Let's try to be truthful. Look, something strange is going on.
Yeah, I could tell as much.
Hope, I'm serious. Something strange is going on and I have no explanation. Neither good nor bad, none at all.
Oh, really? Actually, I have an idea or two.
Wait. I'm not saying that yesterday in the store... Ethan stopped short.
Go on.
He took a deep breath and closed his eyes. I'm not saying I didn't stare at that girl. I did, and it's obvious. I was trying to... She reminds me of someone, and I was trying to figure out if I was mistaken. I know what it looks like, and it's my fault. Ethan decided to omit the part about well-rounded buttocks under the light flowing fabric. Not because he wanted to look better, but because he knew it would hurt Hope, and he really didn't want to hurt her. Please forgive me if you can. I did a shitty thing, but I'm really sorry. He put his hand on the table so that fingers touched a little. Hope didn't move away. Next time we go shopping, you can stare at everyone you like. I'll try my best not to cry. Can't promise anything, though. Hope winced, but Ethan knew she was hiding a smile.
All right, then. But keep in mind, I'll pick the hottest ones.
I don't stand a chance, do I? She smiled wider and ruffled his hair.
Absolutely.
And about the hairs? Hope's smile disappeared without a trace. I don't know where they came from. Seriously, there's something wrong here.
Ethan, please. I don't want to.
No, listen, please. I really think that some intruder is getting inside of our apartment somehow. Do you believe me? Hope looked at him for a while. Then she shivered.
Damn you, Ethan. Yes, I do believe you.
I don't understand how this happens or what they want, but I think it's time to call the police and let them sort it out. It's their job after all.
Maybe you should actually call Laura first. I think it's the time.
Yes, I'll do that as well. Hope pressed his hand.
Let's promise each other we won't go crazy, okay? I also see things. All sorts of things. I mean, sometimes you find hair, just some damn hairs, and you start questioning everything. We just need to get through these dark times, somehow. It'll get better. I'm sure it will.
Ethan nodded. Yeah. Hope pressed his hand again and got up from the table.
Okay, I have to go now. I'll probably be late, and we'll have to hold up at work today.
Should I meet you after?
Maybe I'll call you later, I guess.
Hope?
Hmm?
I love you.
I love you too. Very much. Don't forget to call Laura.
Ethan nodded absently. When the door shut behind Hope, Ethan called Laura. And we'll find out why next time, guys. Thank you all for your support, and I hope you do enjoy the game. Like I said, some of the lines are going to be re-recorded by me, and I do hope I get to work with Flash Chest again. It's been such an honor to be in the game. And I'll see you guys next time. Don't forget to support the game and the channel. Bye, guys.